Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say all praises to Ahaya, Bahasham, Yeshua, Wa, Racha, Kwadash. All right, and this is just a video. I want to share something I saw, all right, where unrighteous judgment went out, all right, and it's just something I wanted to share, not necessarily a lesson, all right, and here's a scripture about it. Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 4. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. All right, so the law in this land is slacked. It's slacked. All right, it's no tightness in it. It's not right. All right, and judgment doeth never go forth. Proper righteous judgment never goes forth in this land. All right, for the wicked doeth compass about the righteous. All right, so all the it starts off with the cop, then you go to the defense attorney, then you're surrounded by prosecutors, and now it's a court, a bailiff and all kind of court cops, and you're dealing with the judge and all these people. They compass the righteous roundabout. You understand? Therefore, wrong judgment proceedeth. All right, all these devils that have these hatred for the children of Israel anyways, they're in this big courtroom in their Satan's kitchen, the jailhouse, pretty much, the prison, the courthouse, right? And they got these Israelites surrounded, and they're doing righteous judgment. All right, they're committing unrighteous judgment against Israelites because white men don't get the same charges as Israelites. And I just wanted to share this video, so take a look.
What do you do when an officer lies through his teeth and tags on false charges against you? What do you do when your defense attorneys try to pressure you into accepting a plea deal? What do you do when the judge in your case, along with the prosecutor and your own defense attorneys, conspire to have you imprisoned? What you're about to witness is a massive case of deliberate court corruption.
Let's go and get a warrant.
Chairman of the court, Mr. Sanchez is standing in the...
Joe's probably calling his attorney practically out there. Because he wants it executed. He's not going to come save him, I'll bet you. So we're going to execute the warrant. But he's out there, probably waiting on his attorney or something.
Could I just know what time the warrant was issued? What time did my attorney leave? Was overflowing with people, so I couldn't even get inside. So I waited in front of the courtroom doors. They have benches on the side because of the same reason. And I was waiting. I waited for a few minutes until I saw that it cleared up a bit, and I decided to go in. Once I went in, I didn't see my attorney, Daniel Torrance, but I saw Heather Chestnut, which was on my case as well. After a few minutes, I walk up to her and I ask her if Daniel Torrance is going to be absent, as he had been absent at the previous court hearing. She tells me that my case had already been called and to just wait until the judge calls my case again. At that moment, I realized that something was up, because I had been in front of the courtroom by 9 and I didn't see Daniel Torrance leave. So I started to get really nervous. So I made sure to document what time I spoke with Heather Chestnut, just in case later on I needed that information. And to my surprise, they had called my case 15 minutes before any court proceeding was to start. They called my case around 8:45, and they did it in order to get a warrant out for my arrest for failure to appear.
8:40 a.m. Heather Chestnut points at the clock on the wall. Note that court hearings and her client, Mr. Sanchez, are not scheduled to start until 9 a.m.
Is it time? 8:45. 4 minutes.
What's he want to do?
8:45.
With Travis.
Heather, let's call him before you get involved and talk to somebody.
Well, I mean, we've got.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Oh, you ready? Good.
8:45 a.m. Right on cue. Prosecutor Nathaniel Swift walks up to go on record and falsely accuse Mr. Sanchez of frequently missed court hearings and tardiness.
Thank you. That's all I'm ready on for now.
Thanks.
Sanchez.
And Your Honor, Mr. Torrance is here today. We're ready on Mr. Sanchez.
But he always comes in late.
82, State of Utah versus Sanchez. Excuse me.
He's not present, Your Honor.
And you don't expect him? Or?
Judge Katie Bernards Goodman just asked that very important question because it's only 8:45 a.m. and she's very aware that court proceedings do not start until 9 a.m.
I'm sorry?
And you're not expecting him to come?
Well, I always expect him, although last time he was not here, and it was only after my secretary called him that he remembered to come, so.
Court records indicate Mr. Sanchez was present with Heather Chestnut on previous court hearings, which was ironically rescheduled by Judge Bernard Goodman due to Mr. Torrance being absent, not Sanchez.
Mr. Sanchez has the history of coming in very late.
Out of dozens of court hearings, court records show Mr. Sanchez had been late once and missed just one court date. Note, this case has been active for more than 5 years due to the ineffective assistance from defense attorneys Heather Chestnut and Daniel Torrance.
He has missed a few altogether.
So, bench warrant?
After prosecutor Nathaniel Swift lied to the court, he then proceeds to ask for a warrant against Mr. Sanchez. All the while, court proceedings are not to start for another 15 minutes.
I'd ask for a warrant, and what we have the problem for is I don't intend on setting this. I don't want to set it for trial until we square away the discovery type issues and stuff, and so he needs to be here for that.
All right, we'll set a bench warrant, $15,000 cash, commenced bond forfeiture.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have this morning. If I could be excused.
We're going to take him into custody. Hey, Steve?
At 9:05 a.m., there's an overcrowded courtroom. People are standing between the courtroom doors and waiting outside for seats to become available. At 9:07 a.m., Mr. Sanchez walks in wearing a white collared shirt and gray pants. Bailiff Steve Adams appears to inform Judge Bernard Goodman of his arrival.
Oh, State of Utah versus Bradford.
At 9:17 a.m., Mr. Sanchez approaches Heather Chestnut. She would inform Sanchez that a warrant had been issued for his arrest and instructed him to wait until the judge called his case again. Prosecutor Nathaniel Swift sees Mr. Sanchez speaking to Ms. Chestnut at 9:17 a.m. It's now 10:43 a.m. It takes prosecutor Nathaniel Swift about an hour and a half before he finally decides to inform Judge Bernard Goodman that Mr. Sanchez is waiting between the doors. Now mind you, Mr. Sanchez has been seen in clear view of the judge, the clerks, the bailiff, his attorneys, and the prosecutor for again the past hour and 36 minutes. Mr. Sanchez can now be seen on his phone, unsuccessfully attempting to reach his defense attorney, Daniel Torrance.
Mr. Sanchez is standing in the lobby there.
Was that one we already called
Yeah.
and issued a warrant because he's always late or not showing up? And we're going to execute the warrant. So we'll see if he comes in here, calls his case. So he's probably calling his attorney practically out there. Because he wants it executed. He's not going to come save him, I'll bet you. So we're going to execute the warrant. But he's out there, probably waiting on his attorney or something. He's good at what he does. He doesn't ask until he's between him and the door.
At 10:47 a.m., the blatant attempt to cover up their tracks begins. They allegedly falsify court records and justify the unlawful arrest.
Sometime after 9 o'clock. But this isn't a social event.
I'm at what, 9:30?
38 minutes late.
So maybe we should call it so that we can document what time he came in. Yeah. State of Utah versus Sanchez.
Judge Katie Bernards Goodman and prosecutor Nathaniel Swift go on record to deliberately lie about the time Mr. Sanchez arrived at court.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez, I just want to make sure we see you before you go back. Your case was already called this morning. We just saw you arrive about 10 minutes ago, which would have been a quarter to 11.
I've been here since 9:08.
Well, you did not come to our courtroom until a quarter to 11. This is the third time you have either missed or been hours late. So we issued a bench warrant for you hours ago. We're going to execute on it this time. I believe we told you last time if you were late, you're going to go into custody.
I
So,
spoke with Heather at 9:17.
Okay.
I was here earlier.
Judge Katie Bernards Goodman ignores Mr. Sanchez's statement, and his defense attorney Heather J. Chestnut remains silent.
Your Honor, I saw the defendant here. When I first saw him, I recognized him. I looked at the clock. It was 9:38 is when I saw him here. I'll note for the record that his attorney is the one that called the case, and we've had this conversation at least 3 times.
Could I just know what time the warrant was issued? What time did my attorney leave?
that, you can ask your attorney about that, but we didn't issue it until after 9, and you're here way after that.
St. Luke chapter 18, verse 1. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray, and not to faint, saying, There was in a city a judge which feared not the Most High, or some say God, neither regarded man. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, Avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, Though I fear not the Most High, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. Excuse me. Verse 6. And the Lord said, Hear what the unjust judge saith. Verse 7. And shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on earth? All right. So this was a wicked judge that everybody in that courtroom on the judicial side was wicked. All right. And the Most High is going to avenge that upon these people, because we cry out day and night for the unrighteous judgments that go on against our people. All right, especially in the judicial system. All right, so that's why this is even exposed to this point. Because I'm sure that brother cried in the prison, not in the prison, but in the jail, and made some type of supplication about his issue and grievance, what happened to him. And next thing you know, this thing is exposed throughout the whole, throughout the internet, to the point to where I got the video. So that's what happens. The Most High will avenge us speedily upon these things. And that judge, that lady stepped down. She removed herself from that case. So he, in essence, got a new judge with that happening. All right. So we just need to endure in faith. And we know that the law of the Most High is not implemented in this land. All right, in this government, they don't institute the laws of the Most High, and it's slack, like the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 4 said. All right, but the Most High will avenge us speedily. So just keep enduring in the faith, and keep your head up, and be wise as serpents and harmless as dove. Kwam Yasharala.